welcome to Pilates Today. My name is Vera. I'm a therapeutic Pilates instructor at Pilates in Port, located inside the Port Stanley Fitness Center. Today I'm here with a rubber band. You can tie a TheraBand or a resistance band up into a knot, or you could use a belt if you don't have one of these. Just going to help with our stretching. You can also find me. We have free classes for over 55 at the Vienna Community Center. I hope you can join me, and I'm also at Riverbend, so I hope I can see you there. So let's start today. We're going to start lying down, finding our posture. So we're going to work today on posture. So again, really important that we have that nice straight posture when we're laying down. We're halfway there, because in a perfect world, ears over shoulder, shoulders over hip, hips are over ankles. But a lot of times, if you're starting to get forward head posture, you might find that when you lay down, your chin's up and you feel like you're curved. If that happens, get yourself a pillow. You don't want to strain that neck. And we're going to work on exercises to help with that today. So let's just start chest opener. We're going to bring our hands, press the elbows down, open up through the chest and shoulders, and then let's let the arms come all the way out and just press, press, press. So trying to get those hands down, the fingers down, open up the hands. And then just while you're lying here, try to level out through the back of the ribs and the hips and trying to be nice and level, find your spot, and then find the ribs and see if we can get them to be nice and heavy. So it might mean connecting ribs to hips or dropping, bringing the tailbone up a bit, just finding your neutral. So with neutral, we should have room for about our hand behind our back and just nice and tight through the core. And then with the hands, we're going to start to arch it up. And what we want to happen is that we can keep those ribs heavy and stop the back from arching by using the energy of the abs and the core, and then coming down. So working those shoulders through that pain-free motion, just trying to get those shoulder blades to start moving and warming up as we sweep it down and up. And one more time, let's come up. And then we're going to come down into a little sweep, that taking off the shirt motion, just up and around and down. And again, ribs nice and heavy. Let's go 2 more. And 1 more time. Perfect. And then we'll come all the way down, and let's just warm those hips up. So we're going to start by trying to keep the back of the hips as level as we can as we drop the knee to the side. If you feel yourself tilting, you've gone far enough. So see, only going to where you can go and stabilize. Let's go the other leg, just trying to stay nice and stable through the back of the hips as we open and close. Let's do that one more time. So just paying attention to any sway through the hips and trying to use the core to prevent that from happening. Perfect. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to just slide one heel all the way out, and keeping the ribs nice and heavy, we're going to reach into that heel and just come up to wherever you can go. And down. Perfect. And let's do that again, coming up. As the leg comes up, you should feel your back flatten, and let's really engage and just go down to where you can go without your back changing, and then coming up again. And again, we're checking for sway, trying to keep everything level as we keep the ribs down. So again, just warming things up. If you get tired, you take a break. And let's go 1 more. Perfect. And in, and then give it a little wiggle. Same thing on the other side. We're going to reach that leg out. When we reach it out, imagine my hands on your foot, and you want to push into it. So we're getting a nice lengthening through that waistline. And then we're going to anchor as we come up. And then just paying attention to everything as we come down. So trying to keep the ribs heavy. Awesome. Up. And if you find that you can't keep the ribs heavy, if you come all the way down, we're going to find that spot that you can. So it might not mean touching the floor, and that's okay. We're just trying to keep everything controlled. here for. And let's go one more time. Beautiful. And nice work. And bring that leg back in. Just give everything a wiggle. Hopefully we've loosened things up a bit. And we're going to bring that rubber band or a belt. Or if you have neither of those, you could just tie a scarf around anything that just puts that little bit of resistance and holds those hips in place. So ideally, we want to be at a spot where the knees are in a nice line with our hip bones, so straight down. So find the hip bones and that would be the perfect width for that belt or scarf to be. And now let's widen and press the shoulders down. Ribs still stay heavy, but abs are engaged. Poke test. And then we're going to gently press into the right rubber band. And remember when we let that leg fall, we tried to keep the back of the hips level. We're going to do the same thing. We're only going to where we can go without letting those hips change or rock. And we're trying to keep the foot flat as well as we press into the other side. And the other thing you want to check for is tension here. Try not to clench the shoulders to move the legs. We want to get out of those bad habits. And let's switch sides. So just pushing that knee away and trying to keep your back nice and flat and level. And relax. And let's do that on the other side as well on the exhale. So just paying attention to those bones on the back of the hip and trying to keep everything nice and still and the feet nice and flat. And now we're going to bridge. So we're going to squeeze glutes. We're going to gently press into the band so it's only half of as hard as if you were pushing as hard as you can. And we're going to lift straight up into that bridge. And just pressing into the arms long and strong, shoulders wide. And let's hold it there just for that 4 and 3. And 2, and then we're going to soften it down. And when you lift the next time, notice where the weight's at. So if you have a pillow, this is where you might want to take it out. We want to make sure the weight's across the shoulders and that you're almost holding an orange under the chin as we come up. And gently pushing the head down into the floor again, just keeping that nice long posture as we hold it up there for 4 and 3, and press into the arms. Let's go 2, and down. Awesome. We're going to do that one more time. So again, this is all about our glutes, the muscles that support our back. So find the glutes as we gently press into the band without rolling the feet out. Make sure those big toes are down. And now let's just pulse into that band. So just a little press out for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 more. Now keep that low grade tension as we just drop the right hip and then come back to the center and the left hip and back to the center. So just think of those hip bones coming down just a little, ½ inch, and back up and switch. Beautiful. And back to the center. Nice job. And now think of lengthening the knees away from the shoulders as we hold it there. And on the exhale, we're going to soften it down. Perfect. Okay, from here, let's just take that rubber band and we're going to take it off and put it over that right foot. And it's going to be in the arch of the foot. And just bringing that band so it's in both hands and dropping it on the inside of the knee so that knee's pointed towards your shoulder. Then level out through the hips again, and we're just going to push that leg away. Perfect. And then that nice straight leg, we're going to bring it towards the chest. Nice little stretch here. And now we're only coming in far enough that you don't feel any pain or strain. We're not locking the knee out. We're not lifting the tailbone. And we're relaxing those shoulders. Nice little stretch. And just relax. Take just a few breaths on every exhale. We're trying to bring that leg maybe a little closer to the body. We're going to be doing some work in a second with both legs up, and if those hamstrings are super tight, then we have to fight that. So So it's best to get that stretch out early so that we can keep those legs up without that stress on our back. Beautiful. Okay, now we're gonna hold on with the same hand as the leg. We're gonna soften that knee outward, trying to keep the back as flat as we can as we drop that leg down. You could use the arm as a counterbalance as well, just trying to keep the back nice and flat as we let that hip open up. And just every exhale, we try to keep our back flat, so make any adjustments you need to, and let that leg get heavier and heavier and heavier as we open up that hip. Now, if you know you have something called SI instability, so low back's unstable, the outward stretch or outward move with the leg might not be your friend. So if you feel any pain or almost like your back's getting quirkier at a joint with this one, you want to keep the knee bent and just make it really gentle, okay? We don't want to tweak that back. And then we're going to come all the way in with control. Want to just switch hands. Actually, let's go both hands as we start to turn that knee inward and outward. So it's happening from the hip, but what I want to make sure is that we're not just turning the foot without that knee. So we're trying to get that whole leg to rotate in the socket. Going out towards your shoulder and then in towards the other shoulder. And now we'll switch hands while it's turned inward, straighten up, keep the hips level so we're not lifting the bum and just bringing that straight leg across midline. I'm just trying to get my arm out of your way. And so I'm not going far enough that I'm twisting the back. I'm just trying to get a nice little gentle stretch through that piriformis and IT band. And I'm never straightening enough that we're hyperextending. There's always a wee bit of softness in that knee. And the hips are fairly level as much as we can. Perfect. Okay, we've got one more side. Let's bring that leg outward. And then that straight leg in towards the chest. Find the rubber band if you like, or just hold on and drop the elbows, whichever technique works. If you have arm pain, you want to keep those elbows close to the body instead of reaching. And when we reach, we also tend to lift the shoulders, so we want to get out of those habits. Nice deep breathing. And just bring that leg a little closer if you can, but still finding the tailbone and make sure we're not tilting the pelvis. Trying to maintain that neutral. And just relax. Take a few breaths. Let everything settle here. Beautiful. Then we're going to soften this knee out. Maybe use the arm as a counterbalance as we let the leg fall out. We're trying to keep our back nice and flat. And just breathe and let gravity open up that hip for us. Relax, release. In through the nose. Get the oxygen up through the brain and down through the muscles as we exhale and just let it go. And then we're going to engage. Bring that leg all the way up. And both hands to turn inward and outward, so just massaging that bone, that femur into the socket, and just where all that synovial fluid is, loosening everything up. Make sure there's no pain or strain in the knee. Sometimes if you don't have that hip mobility, you might feel it in the knee. If that happens, don't do the movement. If anything doesn't feel right, we don't want to do it. And turning inward towards the opposite shoulder, switching hands for leverage and just going across the midline but not lifting our bum. And relax, shoulders, neck, everything's nice and relaxed here. Beautiful. And release. Okay. Hopefully this will help us not get a cramp. We're going to bring the rubber band around the outside of the hands. And let's drop the elbows, widen the chest, lift the sternum. Gently going to press both hands into the band and then letting the arms come up. And notice we're not lifting the shoulders. Shoulders are still down. And let's keep the ribs heavy as the arms come overhead. And then we'll bring the arms all the way up again. And then we'll drop the elbows down. That's our arm movement. Now we're gonna walk the feet in, squeeze glutes, pelvic floor, inner thighs, core is engaged. As the hips come up, the arms are gonna come up. And now, totally optional, only if you feel okay with it. Locking ribs to hips in front, we're gonna let our arms start to come overhead and lengthen, nice and long. And then on the next exhale, the arms are gonna come up. And then we'll take a big breath in, and on the next exhale, we'll drop everything down, trying to lift hips and elbows at about the same time. Nice work. One more time. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, press into the bands as we lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hold. Inhale up. And let's exhale and drop everything, trying to land at about the same time. Nice job. Okay, from here, let's just grab that leg to come on up to seated. And then when we get here, we're gonna give the legs a little shake. We're gonna work on a roll back. So we're gonna start seated, retracting the shoulders, so making sure we're not reaching. And now I know a lot of people like to do the dive over, especially if there's any, I think that we spend too much time around it. I really like to focus on what's going on with our hips, so that's just me. More traditional would be the rounded, but let's just find that hip bone or that tailbone and see if we can push it forward and then sit up again. So again, just finding the tailbone. So same movement as a cat-cow where the tailbone comes forward, and then we're gonna drop the chest and just try to round through here. Imagine your hands are on a table. So we're not lowering or lifting, we're sliding them back. And as we do, we're trying to lay down the low back. So we keep pushing that tailbone forward. You could go back an inch, or you could keep going, just trying to lay down with lots of control, low back, middle back, shoulders, head. And just like when we're bridging, the ribs stay heavy and the arms lengthen. And now this is where we really put the legs together. And I like to push into the heels because I think it's, first of all, it's how we stand on the ground. Second of all, it helps give us energy. So we're gonna squeeze our legs together, start to arch the arms, nod the head like we're saying yes, squeeze in our thighs, and just piece by piece peeling ourselves up until we're sitting nice and tall. Relax the neck, round, look down towards the belly button, push that tailbone forward, keep pushing the tailbone forward, trying to lay down the low back first, sliding the hands across that invisible table, low back, middle back, shoulders, head. Anchor the ribs, arch it up, one more time, nodding, squeezing inner thighs, pelvic floor as we round up, and then restack. And now let's push that tailbone forward, scoop it in, drop the nose, press the low back down, keep pressing the low back, middle back, shoulders, head. Anchor the ribs. Nice job. Once we're here, let's just roll to the side. And I'll do one set here, and then I want to get onto our stomach and get some posture moves in. So just stacking those hips. Let's reach into that top heel, nice long leg, nice long waist as we lift and lower. Let's go 2 and down. Trying to really push down that iliac crest so that we're keeping the area between the ribs and the hips open. If I lift too high, it's gonna come from my back. So I really wanna only lift to where I can go with there being no change between that ribs and hips. Let's go 4 more, lengthening through the heel, low abs are still engaged, shoulders are relaxed. 3 more. If you've been watching me much, you'll realize I can't count, so don't worry about it. 2 more. Approximate numbers. Last 1. Lovely, good job. Let's roll over onto our bellies. And then from here, we're gonna prop ourselves right up. back hurts at all, we can drop the heels in a bit, your choice. And then let's just stretch out that hip flexor. So right leg, we're gonna squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that invisible tennis ball. Let's relax and then flex the foot and squeeze a little harder, putting a little more weight on that hip as we just relax the neck. Beautiful. Okay, other side. Just good. Squeeze in, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax, flex, squeeze a little harder, a little more weight on that hip. Slide that knee away from the shoulder. Lovely, and down we go. Perfect. Okay, I want to work on extension today because that really helps with that posture. So with extension, we want a double chin, so we want to be looking straight down. Imagine there's a headlight on top of your head. It's forward, not facing the ceiling. Chin's down and we're looking at the mat. We'll start with the easier ones. Hands just into the ribs, chin tucked. Think of your spine being like a piece of tape. We're trying to peel off the sternum as we unweight. So just working those muscles that extend the spine and down. Now, hold an invisible orange under the chin. Let's try that again. Just lengthening as we come up and down. So even though the hands are there, we want to use them as little as possible, or as much as you need to. So if you need to push to get there, that's okay. And okay, let's do, you can stay right there, that's the easier version. I'm going to do a couple harder versions, but totally optional. Second choice would be, let's bring the hand up just in to our shoulder, and as we peel, we're going to lift the hands and maybe even turn the thumbs up, so it's almost a W arm. Again, trying to just look down and relax. So it's a good chest opener, good shoulder opener, and nice posture exercise. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Beautiful. Next one, hands going to be slapping the floor beside us. We're going to slide the hands down towards the feet, turn the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Start by tucking the chin, lifting the hands, and then peeling the chest away as we hold for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to prepare, tuck the chin. Peel the sternum as we turn the thumbs away from the body and hold for 4 and 3 and 2 and down. Nice job. Okay, now let's support the head. And we're going to just bend that left knee to 90. And let's pull the toes down towards the floor. Try to line up the hip bones so they're nice and level. Engage the abs and try to keep the hips level as we push the ceiling away and down. Let's go 2 and down. So you can either put that pillow under your head or just let the head float, keeping the chin tucked. Let's go 3, 4, have the hands there. 4 and 5 and 6. We have 2 more. 7, 1 more for 8. Awesome. Straighten it out. Other side. Don't have to keep the hands there. It just gives you feedback whether your hips are rocking. We're trying to avoid that from happening by using the abs. And then we're going to go to the other side. Pull the toes down. Find the heels. Push the ceiling away. And now let's go 2. Beautiful. And down. And 3, and 4. Nice job. And down. We're almost there for 5. And down. Let's go one more time for 6. Oh, I think I went 8 the other side. Let's go 7. And one more time for 8. Well done. Relax. Let's wiggle the legs around. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna roll to that second side. We have one more set of leg lifts to get in before we're done. Transition's half the battle here. And we're gonna roll to that side. Line everything up. Pull up through that bottom waist, stack the hips, reach into the heel. You can stabilize if you like with the bottom leg. Just gonna reach that leg out nice and long. Try and keep the leg or the hip from hiking as we relax the shoulders, 2, and relax. Let's go 3, and relax. How about 4? And we're gonna go 4 more. Low abs are nice and tight. Let's go 5, and how about 6, and maybe 2 more, 7, and why not 8? Beautiful. Hope we're getting some of those outer thighs. And then when you're ready, let's come right back to our back. We're almost done. And I'm gonna finish with one of my favorite little foot strengtheners. So we're gonna bring this guy over 1 foot and under. So it's at the top of 1 foot. You're gonna really feel it in this foot that's supporting. We're pulling the toes back and we're reaching that other leg away. And when you want, you can ease off on it. Back's nice and flat, so the knees in far enough. Good. You're working pretty hard and your back's nice and flat. Shoulders are relaxed. 2 more. So those muscles on the top of our leg here, the anterior tibialis, that's all about lifting our toes when we walk. Really important this time of year, because if we're not lifting our toes, probability of slipping and falling is a lot higher. And let's bring that in, hold the knees, secure the back, and just pushing away. And release. Let's go 2. Beautiful. And release. Reach it out for 3. And how about 4? Nice job. Maybe 2 more. 5. And very last one for 6. Lovely. Let's grab the band. We're going to bring the feet together, knees wide, and just bring those elbows out nice and wide. Nice little inner thigh stretch as we hold it here. Maybe rock around, loosen up the low back. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, stay healthy and fit.